Hi, I'm Eugene the Teacher. Recently, a preacher friend of mine went on Facebook and made a post about a very interesting question. You see, he had an experience at a church where this youngish, stylish preacher was bragging about how his church strayed from Christian traditions. How you're not going to find traditions here because this is not your grandmother's church. And he questioned whether that was very wise, because when you part with all traditions, you're parting with the heart of Christianity, right? And I would have to partly agree, because traditions are important. Like, I don't have any problem with traditions. I need some tradition in my life because these are the things that, principles and rules, these are the things that grounds me. It's like the anchor on my boat. Without some tradition, I'll drift away and get to a land where right is wrong and wrong is right, and I'm skating all kinds of gray areas. You know what I mean? But in defense of the youngish, stylish minister who parted with a bunch of church traditions, I would have to say that some traditions do harm us. They stop people right there at the door, because today's young people, they don't want too much traditions, because they don't want to worship at grandmother's church. Here's how you know that if your church has too many traditions. If your church service has looked the same for 30 years, if it's been the same since grandmother was here, you could probably get rid of some church traditions. A lot of traditions, they don't even help us to worship God. Like lighting 2 candles on the altar before preaching and blowing them out. That doesn't, you can preach and worship just fine without those 2 candles. Or, walking the ushers up to the music of the traditional doxology tune that was written in the 1700s. Yeah, you can walk the worship offering up on any kind of music, you see. And you don't want tradition to stop you at the door, because Jesus' great commandment was to go out and preach his truth to the world. And you're not reaching anybody if nobody's listening. So here's what you can do. If you are having a hard time relating to the youth of today, you could watch some television. Now, I know, a lot of Christians are like, well, the television comes from the devil, and you'd be missing nothing if you didn't watch any TV. Well, I had to partly agree. There's a lot of junk on television today, but it does help us, to relate to today's youth. If we can't speak the lingo of today, nobody's really listening. They've got some really entertaining, funny stuff out there, and if we have truth, but if we want them to hear it, we have to compete, and we have to be at least half as funny in order for anybody to listen to us. I'm Eugene the Teacher with today's inspirational message.